Okay, I want to welcome everybody to our May Education Night. It's May the 23rd, 2024. And I just, we don't have any newbies or any new guests or guests tonight. So I'm just going to go through a few announcements and then we'll have our Education Night. The assignments coming up for the next 3 months are dancers in June. And I had a question, Jim and Robert, can it be something other than a human? And I kind of, I'm like,
a bird,
what?
like a bird or something.
Like a bird dancing, but they're really not dancing. They're just kind of, doing a bird
I've seen
thing.
people dancing and those birds look better.
Yeah, that's true. So I assume you want only humans. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In July is the short video. So hopefully we'll get to learn tonight enough so that we can put together the video, and we will send out, we're going to have to collect those differently than we normally do with the photo submission. So we'll send out the instructions. It'll be kind of like what we did last year for the time-lapse videos. And then in August, it's Creative Bokeh. The Education Night's coming up. Obviously tonight is a short video. In June is going to be street photography with Alan Shapiro, who we had last year for his beautiful food photography. He also does a lot of street photography and has been trained by the street photographer in the U.S. was Jay Maisel in New York City. So this should be very interesting. And Alan's
what's the dates?
That's June, whatever. I don't know. It's the fourth
Thursday.
Fourth?
The fourth Thursday, like it always is for Education Night. And then in July, we will be having Jackie Kramer talking about Creative Bokeh. So that will get you ready for the assignment in August. And Jackie was our very first speaker when we started doing Zoom Education Nights. And she talked to us about flower photography back then, but she has a really great session on Creative Bokeh, and I've taken it. She has a lot of cool ideas of how to create bokeh behind a flower or whatever, something small, some small object, or, and ideas for even stuff for bigger stuff. So, we don't have an outing set up yet, a next one, but we're working on some others. Obviously during the summer, we try to do them either indoors or at night. And so those are a little more difficult to come up with. We did briefly talk about just a few minutes ago about the flower fields. Look, Tori said she was there today, and the sunflowers are not blooming yet. But I'm going to go probably either tomorrow or the first of the week, and I'm assuming we should have sunflowers by next Saturday. So keep that in mind. So we'll possibly have an outing next Saturday at the flower field. It'll be early in the morning. I have set up. They don't usually open, I think, until 9 or 10. And if I get the lady that works there is named Sylvia. And if I get Sylvia to come in at 8 o'clock, then we can come in earlier before it gets too hot and the sun gets too high in the sky. But I will let you know about that as soon as I find out. I think, Jim, do you have anything to add?
Not to any of that, no.
No, and not anything you need to add.
Nope, I'm pretty much ready for tonight. I do have, I don't know if you want to show it, online during meeting or want to post on site. I did make a short video of the outing to the Florida Polytechnic University.
Yeah, we could do that tonight, because I was supposed to put together the slideshow for the One Day Tampa Bay Camera Club, and I forgot. So I got all the pictures all together, and this week has been a little crazy, and I totally forgot. Somehow I forgot to do that. So we have time to do yours.
So we have a substitute presentation then.
Yeah, have a substitute presentation. It's always good to have something in your back pocket. Well, Robert ran away. I was going to ask Robert, do you have anything you want to add to anything?
When did I run away?
You disappeared for a second.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Then I'm going to Jim already made you co-host, so you have control.
Okay.
You can show your video and then do your presentation.
Okay.
Hi, Jan.
Hey, Jan, and Victoria, and Diana, and Lee Wynn.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see they had come in. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy. I saw you, Victoria.
Jan, you back at home or?
Yeah, I'm back in Chattanooga.
Okay. Yeah, we got to see guys last Saturday. We got to see Jan. Or not last Saturday, but 2 weeks ago, when we went to the Florida Polytechnic. She was here and she visited with us. It was awesome to see Jan in person.
I loved it. I loved it.
So
It was
awesome.
great.
Jan, what's Chattanooga like?
I like Chattanooga. It's a small little city, got trees going down the streets in the middle of the city, nice
Mountains.
yeah, mountains all over. It's just a kind of a cool little place.
It's in the mountains?
It's got mountains
Chattanooga's-
around it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. And a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm jealous.
They really have a choo-choo train there?
Yep, they actually do.
Okay.
You weren't on earlier, Jan. It's snowing in Montana.
Ooh, no thank
Yeah.
you.
I love the snow.
Are you ready?
Yep.
We are.
Go for it.
All right.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
good.
Thanks, Jim.
And just to
That's
remind you
Great.
guys, those of you that were there, don't forget to send me 3 images by June the 10th.
I think you said, oh, I thought you said 6th. Okay.
No, 3. Yeah,
No,
because I figured
by-
a lot of them are going to be very similar. So,
No, I thought you said June 6th.
no,
but-
June 10th.
Okay.
June 10th, 3 pictures by June the 10th.
Okay.
But thank you. Enjoyable. I saw that little special trick.
What's that, Leslie?
Sorry.
With
my
the
mouth was
railing?
full. I saw that little special trick you did.
Oh, that's called a parallax shot, by the way. It's where you have a foreground objects and background objects, and you move past them so that they move at different speeds, well, not different speeds, but it appears to be that they move at different speeds with relationship to each other. In video, they call that a parallax shot.
We caught it.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it looked like we were going over the San Francisco Bay Bridge.
So, but in any case, we're going to get started with help to get going for the short video project. The nice thing about video being creative, it can open up a lot more realms of creativity to you in certain ways, as opposed to a still photograph. If you think about this, a still photograph, especially if you print it, frame it, hang it on the wall or whatever, that's it. It is one slice of time, and that's what you get to see. It does not move. It does not change. It can't talk to you. It doesn't have sound effects. It doesn't have a soundtrack. It doesn't tell a story over time. It has to tell a story within the context of those 4 sides in that 2-dimensional image. In certain ways, being a good photographer and getting something compelling into a still photograph can actually be much more challenging. The challenge in video is the technical part of putting it together, filming it and putting it together. But you have all that creativity with video to tell your story. You've got time to tell the story. You can include still pictures. You can include multiple scenes that tell your story. You can have the things that are in there make sound, and you can hear them. You can hear the birds. You can hear the waves crashing on the shore. You can hear the city traffic. People can have dialogue. You can hear a conversation. You can have voiceover narration and tell your story. You can have beautiful background music that goes with it. It opens up a whole new world of creativity for visual storytelling, if that makes sense. So the real challenge in it is the technical end of it. It's a lot more involved than taking a still photo. But to get out there, just get out there and get something simple done, it's not that hard. You can use your cell phone, use your DSLR, use your mirrorless, just some basic settings. Pardon me. You can shoot in 1080 or 4K is going to be your best bet for shooting if you have those, when you have those options to choose from. Most stuff is going to be played back at 1080, but if you shoot at 4K, you've got higher resolution, and depending on your video editing capabilities, there's more you can do with it, but we're not really getting into that right now. Even on your phone, you're going to have some options for that. And I'm going to show you, let me bring up a screenshot that I just did off of my phone. Right here. Let me find the right screen. I've got so many screens going on here. Screen 3, there we go.
I just go through the hole because the backlight the lighting on the back, right?
Yeah, there. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Even just on the phone, one of the things to check for is your resolution. So here's my phone: HD, FHD, UHD, and 8K. UHD is 4K, by the way. FHD is 1080. UHD is 4K.
So hopefully
And
yeah.
someone have a question?
Yeah, I just muted Lee Win. She's on the phone.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So there's your settings. HD is very low resolution. You don't want to pick that. And 8K is going to be darn near impossible to work with if you have basic editing stuff. So UHD, FHD are going to be your two best options. By the way, can you see my mouse when we're looking at it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And and
It's
frame rate.
yellow.
Yeah, frame rate, FPS, frames per second. See that? That's at UHD. I've got and it changes as you pick different ones. There will be different ones available, but 30 is your best bet. Just stick with 30. Anything online on any streaming service plays back at 30, so you may as well record it at 30. If you record something at 60, that does give you some options if you know how to work an editing program to slow things down and do some tricky things like that. But if you're just working basically with a basic editor, just stick to 30. And when you record, if you record multiple clips for your video and you're using a basic editor like the video editor that comes with your computer or that's in your phone that you get when you get your phone or your computer or whatever, or if you go online and use a free one like Canva or something like that, don't record some in one and some in another. You'll trick yourself up. Then you have a problem putting things together on the back end. Pick one and stick with it. So 30 is going to be your the number to stick with. Your best bet for frames per second, your frame rate, and UHD, and you can get by with FHD, if you need to. That's 1080.
Jim, can I ask you where you brought that? Which icon above there that you brought that in? Was that
Say it again?
I was wondering how to brought this little screen up inside your phone.
All right. Do you see where my arrow is pointing right here?
Yeah, I see it.
This is a screenshot of this is my phone. This is the video recorder of my phone. And if you tap this right here, that brings up this menu. Just like if you tap right here where it says 9:16, that's the aspect ratio, and it gives you, options to change that.
What kind of phone is that?
It's a Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah,
A little different on the iPhone.
Yeah, on the iPhone, you go into the camera and then you go into the settings. So you just hit camera in your settings menu in the iPhone and hit camera, and all this stuff will come up.
Yeah, everybody's phone is going to be different, but you'll see an option somewhere, for your video. And if you notice, I even have this on my screen when I did this. I'm not even in the pro video mode. I'm just in the plain video mode. But the plain video mode, even just the basic video mode, gives you these options. So if you have the options to pick, that's what you want. A lot of times, by default, a lot of phones will be defaulted at FHD, which is 1080, and you have to go in here and change it to UHD if you're using your phone. And if you're using a mirrorless or DSLR, this is 4K. It'll probably be indicated as 4K in your camera, and in your phone it may say UHD or it may say 4K. It all depends on the device you're using.
Ooh, the Pro has a level in it. People with crooked heads need that. That would be me.
Yeah. Now, it's probably going to be automatic if you're using a phone. A lot of them have built-in stabilization.
Yeah.
And if you're using a camera, your DSLR, your mirrorless camera, lenses that are with stabilization, if it has a switch on it, turn it on. You want your lens to be working for stabilization and in-body image stabilization if your camera has that, and both if you have a lens and a body that does that. And if you're shooting with any of the newest GoPros or any of that, they have fantastic built-in stabilization, and the latest premium phones all have some pretty decent stabilization in them as well to help you with your handshake and smooth out your footage. When you actually hit the record button and you're recording with whatever device, if you're shooting handheld on a gimbal, whatever you're using, unless you're trying to deliberately, do something very fast, recording fast action, and you want it to have that fast look, you want to move the camera slow, especially if you're panning. If you're panning side to side with anything, the stabilization software has the most problems of all dealing with panning. And the faster you pan, the worse it makes it for the stabilization software. And sometimes the stabilization software actually, if you pan too fast, gets confused and doesn't stabilize. It unstabilizes, and it does some really jerky, weird, strange things. You'll see some very strange, all of a sudden, shifts in what you see in the image and stuff. And that's the software stabilization not understanding what's going on when you're doing the camera. It works. Stabilization works really well if you're moving forward, backward, walking through a turn, so enough. And you're best if you break your scenes when you're recording so that you don't move forward and then pan, because that really throws off the stabilization software. And when you make that transition from moving the camera this way to moving the camera that way, like this, when you make that transition with the camera, the software will throw its hands in the air and do some really weird things to your footage. So you can cut that out, or you can just film it in 2 shots, move in or move back, and pan separately. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Now, here's one of the best tricks when you're filming with something. Oh, my phone's in my pocket. I was gonna say here's my case, but there's the phone. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna use it for demonstration. When you're filming something, you're looking at the LCD screen on the back of your camera, your phone, whatever. Get things framed up, push the record button, and then you start moving. One of the worst things you can actually do is keep your eyes on the screen and trying to keep your subject centered and trying to keep things composed, because it actually will make you shakier. And the other thing is, you will very likely put yourself in a position where you're going to trip over something, stumble, you'll drag your feet. When you get focused on what's on that screen and you're trying to walk and do a shot and you're watching what's happening in the screen, you actually end up not walking smoothly. You stumble, you trip, this mess. Your trick is frame it up, get a little wide, and just look over it and watch where you're going. Just watch your subject with your eyes. Don't even look at the camera, and just walk, keep the camera in front of you as you go, but look over it and look with your eyes at your subject and your scene after you frame it and hit the record button. Then go back and review your footage and see if you messed something up or not. But if you stay concentrating on that screen, it's actually going to be bad. That's one of the best tips I can tell you for when you're filming.
Is it kind of like driving, how you look farther down the road than right up close to you? Is it the same kind of concept?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good analogy, Leslie. Mm-hmm.
Even more true on a motorcycle.
Yeah. If you're watching the road, right in front of you versus out there, you're not as steady with what you're doing either. And but that's the idea. Don't look in now, if you have your eye to the eyepiece, you can stay in one spot and move the camera around and do things like this, but also there again, trying to walk with your eye to an eyepiece, you have no peripheral vision. You don't know what's around you. You're also gonna you're bump into things, trip, and mess up your footage. So when you're walking, if you go back and if you haven't already seen it, the other video that I put online that I did that I showed a couple weeks ago, videographers use what they call the ninja walk, which is you don't just walk normally, because then you get your camera, does this while you walk. There's a way to walk where you land on your heel, rock to your toes, next foot forward, softly land on your heel, rock to your toes. They call it the ninja walk. Just picture in your head, a ninja sneaking up on somebody, and that's the way you walk. You bend your knees, make yourself very flexible, and you do the ninja walk, and it really helps out the camera, and that lets the internal stabilization then, because you can move your camera beyond the limits of the stabilization. If the camera just moves within the limits of stabilization, you won't really notice that you're walking. Now, unless creatively for your video, you want it to look like you're walking, then walk with the camera and it will look like you're walking. So, for creative effect, depending on what you're doing, you may want it to look like you're walking or running. That may be part of the story you're trying to tell. So be aware of that. And any questions on any of that technical stuff? Because that's just the basic stuff you need to start filming. But I'll stop and take questions on any of that stuff, because the next part of what I'm going to cover is the different types of videos that you might want to make for your project and what might be involved in those. And then at the end, I'll show you some different examples of different things that I've done that relate to some of these different types of things. And you can, ask questions about that too. But any questions about how you're going to set up your camera or do any recording with it?
You seem to be recommending a cell phone. Is that a good way to start?
Oh, a cell phone is fine. Cell phone is great. There's great video. Like I say, this one right here will shoot 8K raw video, which is crazy. If I shoot this 8K raw video, every 5 seconds is 1.2 gigs. If you, like I say, these now can do some crazy things. I've never even had a need to shoot 8K raw video with this, but it exists in the phone.
Holding?
What's that, Brian?
Is that an S23 or an S22?
This is an S22. Yep. But I've done a couple short clips, at 8K. They will, if you get up there in the 8K realm, they will heat up quickly, and they will eat up memory like you can't believe, because 8K files are monsters. And the other thing is, you don't even want to go into the realm of 8K unless you've got a computer and editing software on the back end with the horsepower to deal with 8K. Otherwise, I'm saying, you don't want to mess with it if you're a beginner. Stick to 1080 and 4K to start with, because 4K, even if you're a beginner, is going to be slow to work with a lot of software, and you'll find yourself banging your head against the wall, trying to work with 4K footage with some of the basic free video editors.
Jim, are you planning to discuss slow motion or altered rates of filming?
Good question, Jack. Now, yes, you can, if you're going to throw it in there, here's what happens. If you pick an actual mode in your camera that specifically says slow motion, what happens is it creates something that it marks for playback at 30 frames per second. So as far as your playback and editing are concerned, that still is going to be a 30 FPS clip. Okay, even though it's going to actually record it, depending on what setting you set it at 60, 120, 240, it will record it at that, but it will mark it to be played back as a 30 frames per second clip. That's how you get it to, that's how it's slow motion. Now, if you're an advanced video editor, you can pick higher frame rates with the intention that you are going to control the slow motion on the back end. But what happens is it doesn't mark it for 30 FPS playback. It marks it for playback at the rate you recorded it at. So you record something at 120 or 240 FPS, it normally will be played back by any playback program or editor at that speed, unless you go into your editing program and specifically change the playback rate in the editing process. And you'll have issues if you try and mix something recorded at 60, 120, 240 with something that's 30. But if you actually choose slow motion mode and say slow motion 2x, slow motion 4x, slow motion 8x, whatever in your camera, it does come out of the camera as a 30 FPS clip as far as playback and editing is concerned. So good question, Jack. I hope that explained it.
Yeah, so then you can mix those slow motion videos.
Yes, because the slow motion is, for all intents and purposes, when you edit it or play it back, a 30 FPS clip, and it will mix with your other standard clips. Be aware, anytime you choose a slow motion mode, though, it shuts off the microphone of the device. You get no audio if you're recording with any camera or cell phone or whatever. If you pick a mode that says slow motion, it shuts off the mic. You get no audio. You get a silent clip. If you actually record something at 120, 240, when it plays back at 120, 240, whatever, you get the sound that matches up to that. But if you slow that clip down for slow motion, the sound slows down too if you keep the sound synchronized with it. So, voices and, the sound of waterfall, birds, whatever's going on, horses running by, whatever it may be, then becomes distorted, slowed down audio as well. That's why for, when you just pick a slow motion mode, it just does not record audio. So, got that? Any questions on that?
Yeah, I have a question on the audio, Jim. If you're not using slow motion, do you have a way to disable the audio anyway?
Well, depending on the camera you're recording with, you can mute the microphone. All of my mirrorless and DSLR cameras have in the menu an option to mute the microphone so that you don't record audio anyway. And most editing software, the audio is recorded as a separate track, and most editing softwares will let you delete or mute the audio track anyway, even if you did record an audio track, because especially if you want to put music behind something, you make one of these like beautiful nature scene videos or something, and you want that beautiful cinematic music behind it. You don't want the sound of the airplane going by and the traffic on the road behind you, and you sneezed while it was recording. You don't want any of that going on. So you either mute your mic in the first place or strip the audio track off when you're editing your video. Good questions. All right, I have a list here I threw together. By the way, I wanted to be more prepared than this, but I recently had a disaster happen that I'm not even going to talk about that has thrown me way behind on some things. It's not anything funny at all, and dealing with that disaster and trying to work and get stuff done for clients, you're seeing me now with 6 hours sleep in 3 days, and way behind on things. And so yeah, question me if it sounds like I've skipped over or missed over anything that you want. But here's some of the types of videos that you may want to throw together for your project, or not even just for the project. As you do more video, things you may want to do with video. one of the easiest things to do in video, but probably for our purposes, for our exhibition night, probably the most boring, is an interview video. It's going to be the easiest to do because you're not doing any camera work. Interviews involve, for the most part, what we call a lockdown shot. The camera's locked down on a tripod and pointed at somebody that's talking. You may ask them questions from behind the camera to get their response and film their response. Good interviews, if you ever watch, will be a 2-camera setup. There'll be one, pointed straight at the subject. Then there'll be a camera off to the side for profile shots. And you'll see they cut back and forth, mostly face on, and then every so often there'll be a few seconds of a profile shot, from the side. And the really creative interview videographers will have that camera on the side on a slider rail. And for the side shots, they will very gradually, slowly slide the camera on a rail. So you get a little bit of parallax motion between the subject and their background, because the straight on shots are very static. There may be some zoom in to get tight, pull back to get wide, and on the side shots you may have a little sliding motion. But for the most part, that's it. The audio is very simple because it's just the dialogue of the interview. So that's something that's easy to do. Interview friends, interview people you work with. You can get some practice with that. It's good practice, to do things. For what we're doing for our exhibition, we're looking for a little bit of creativity in the content. That there's not a lot of room for creativity in that, but that is one of the easiest things to do if you're interested in it. It also has when scenes are cut together, very simple transitions, if at all. You notice in like the video I showed you there's a couple different transitions that happen from scene to scene. The way it changes from one scene to another, it's called a transition. Sometimes they fade into each other. Sometimes there's a little pop in, pop out. There's all different things that happen. But in an interview video, very, very simple, very short transitions. And that's it. Another one's very popular. This is YouTube is really built on this, is instructional videos and vlogging. And it's, if there's something you're interested in, some subject that you're interested in, you can make a little educational video about it. Teach us about a camera. Teach us about how to cook your favorite meal quick. Here's how I make scrambled eggs. Make it interesting. Whatever. You think of any topic, and you can make an educational video about it. You can look online. I bet you go online and you say you go on YouTube and Google, how to iron a shirt. You're probably going to come up with 500 instructional videos on how to iron a shirt. Yeah. But so those are simple things you can do as well. So you can make it, a short video can be very interesting about just a quick educational topic like that. Vlogging, video log, that's people filming themselves doing things and talking about what they're doing. That's the world of TikTok, right? I'm not on TikTok, but isn't that what that's all about? Yep. So yeah, TikTok and those things all over YouTube as well. Put yourself on camera if you want, and show us you doing something interesting and talking about it. They're fun. You can use medium to long length clips. Still mostly simple, short, transitions, unless you're really doing something fancy. You're going to have the if you're teaching or vlogging, you're going to have your dialogue and possibly some voiceover narration on the video, especially if it's educational. You don't even have to, if you have the software to do it, you don't have to record your narration live as you're doing something. You can record all the steps of whatever you're going to teach, and then you can come back, watch the video in front of you, get yourself, a mic. It doesn't have to be this fancy, and record your narration and put it in with it. You can simply use, even if you record something, put your clips together, but then need a narration track. Phones have a voice recorder in them. You can just voice record, get the MP3 file out of the phone, and put it in your video. I've had some real estate agents do that. I make a walkthrough video for a property, give them the video, then they watch the video, get on their phone, they talk about the house as they're watching the video, and then send me the voice recorded file out of their phone, and I put it in the video for them. You can do that as well. That's an option for that. Or you can just actually talk as you're teaching something, but you don't have to. That's an option for that. So any questions about those types of videos?
And you're going to show us how to do that.
What's that?
And you're going to show us how to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You can look on YouTube to your heart's content and see how to do those types of videos. It's not really much of what I do, in that realm. Now another type of video you can do is, and a lot of people do this just to hone their skills and even to put videography portfolios together. Informative videos, commercials, marketing. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of videographers that make fake commercials. They just grab some product at home and make their own commercial for it. It doesn't really get out there on TV or whatever, but it shows off your skills as a videographer to, and you can invent some fake product. Get something in your house and, put your own fake label on it with, masking tape or something, and have fun. Do something fun for us and creative. Make a comedy commercial, make a skit, market some crazy service that we've never heard of and would never use anyway. Yeah.
You're talking Jim's language now.
Yeah.
William?
Yeah.
We lost him.
Hey,
You're amazed at what I'm thinking about right now.
I'd like to see a marketing video for the Cropinator. Those of you who remember the Cropinator.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these are some ideas of some things you can do. And like I say, YouTube is a great resource for, look at these types of videos and see, how creative, people are doing things out there with it. If you're a beginner, of course, you're not going to be at the level of what you're going to see out there, but it's a great resource for ideas for doing this kind of stuff. Make a fake infomercial, make a fake product commercial, market some idea that you've had in your head, forever that, you think would make you $1 million, but you can't afford to go get a patent on it. Anything like that are creative ideas of stuff you can do. There's, if you want to get a little more involved in what you're doing and recruit some friends or family, you could write a little skit, do a little drama, do a little 90-second TV show of your own, of any type. Just make up a story. You can look out on YouTube. There's a million things like that out there too. Just short little cinematography stories. A place where videographers do that a lot more so than YouTube is Vimeo, Vimeo. If you go to Vimeo and look at the editor's picks and stuff, there's a lot of just simply creative. There's a lot of creative and storytelling videos, little dramas, little short, just little short programs like that that are very well done, that are good inspiration.
And
Vimeo,
how long are how long are our videos to be?
Around a minute and a half is
Okay.
is over, and and anything up to that, I would say 30 seconds minimum. That gives us an idea, because we're looking at what you're doing creatively to show us outside of the world of still photography. So between 30 and 90 seconds. And I'll tell you, one of the hardest things to do is make it short. Very few of my videos that I make for me personally come anywhere near being short. However, for clients, for social media marketing and stuff like that, it has to be short. And that's where some of the real work comes in. Trying to make a 15-second piece, trying to make a 20-second piece, even a 1 minute or a 90-second piece, which I've, done plenty of. It's, I'm very relieved when I can do a 90-second piece. I'm very stressed when I have to do a 20-second piece. And a lot of times what happens with that, like, what I did a while ago, some that were fun. I did some stuff for a bar in Ybor City, and we came up with several 20-second pieces. But we filmed a bunch of stuff with several cameras, and then had enough footage between it all to make a couple different 20-second pieces out of all the footage that we had. And speaking of that, I'm going to touch on with video. It's just like when you're shooting stills. When you bring something to competition or exhibition, you put it out there in your portfolio, you show it to people or whatever. 99% of what you shoot isn't there. You're showing that one little bit. With video, you've heard about the cutting room floor. 99% of what you shoot is going to be on your cutting room floor, your digital cutting room floor. There's very little that you're going to actually end up using. A beginner mistake, I had a hard time with it in video too. It's the same concept when you start out in photography. You love all your pictures. When you go out and you push the record button, well, you used up all this memory, you spent all this time, you made all this footage. It hurts to cut most of it away and leave that one little bit. You may film a minute and a half of something and take 5 seconds out of it. And at first, that's a hard thing to get over, to not want to use every second of footage that you film for something. You have to be just as tough on your footage with the axe as you are when you're culling your still images. Because long clips, especially in the social media world, get boring. You look at social media, it is cut, something new. Look at a trailer for a movie or a TV show. Oh my gosh, if you see 2 seconds worth of a scene, that's amazing. But.
So, Jim, a question.
Mm-hmm.
You're making all these cuts for 99% of what you filmed. How do you get rid of that in storage on these processing?
I have lots of hard drives full of the outtakes, and the stuff that was never used, because it's almost like an archive. Someday I may want another piece of one of those clips for something completely different.
Right.
It kind of becomes your own little video, library there that you can go back to. Just because you didn't use some of this for this project doesn't mean it's still not available to take, another 10 seconds of one of those clips for some other project someday. So
you just
unless
store
it's
them on a separate storage media, a separate disk or something.
Yeah, see, I have well, I took some of them offline last week temporarily while I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. But I think right now I've got like 16 or 17 drives connected to my system.
Okay. 'Cause
and
I
I
ran
and I have cloud backup.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I had to get an external disc to put all these movie segments on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still look at them and I go, well, wait a minute, I don't want most of this because part of it's
Mm-hmm.
practice and it's
Yeah,
not good film,
exactly.
footage.
Yeah, I still don't totally delete anything unless it is actually technically flawed.
Yeah.
You know, if you know if I shook the camera or it's out of focus or it's overexposed, it's underexposed, anything, if it's just technically screwed up footage, I'll get rid of it. But otherwise, if it's technically correct footage of something, just because I didn't use it here doesn't mean I don't remember in my head, oh, I've got that to go back to and use for something else. And in the commercial world, that is done a lot. In fact, you see this in television on commercials. The commercials you watch, when they film something, they film a campaign, they film a bunch of stuff, and if you've noticed, you'll see sometimes 3 different variations of the same commercial.
Yeah.
Some of it is the same stuff used over again, but in between is some different stuff, and you'll see overlapping segments within commercials that you'll see, the same 5 seconds is in this commercial and in this commercial and in this commercial,
Yeah.
but then there's another piece and another piece, and that's done a lot, where a lot of stuff is recorded, and then in the back end it's mixed and matched to make multiple final products from all the assets that get done at once, and some of it's reused. So
Yeah, my computer puked with all the movie things that I was saving on the storage, or disk, so I had to move it all out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is, as far as the workflow like that goes, this is what I do, and this is what I recommend if you're doing editing of your stuff. You want that stuff right there on your primary hard drive. That's where it needs to be while you're editing. Your computer needs it right there, especially if you have an SSD for your main drive. Get everything on that, edit it, and then what I do is, when that project is done, then the footage goes off to be stored on a slow, external hard drive. And when I need to retrieve it, a copy is pulled back onto my fast main hard drive to work with and edit. You really don't want to edit anything when you get into editing that's on an external drive. You're gonna have headaches trying to edit from it. So even if you're storing it on an external drive, copy what you want to work with in your project to your main fast drive while you work on it.
Okay.
I have, in my computer, I have a section in my main drive called Working Assets. And in that is just a set of folders of the projects I am working on that are incomplete at this time. When they're completed, they move off to whichever hard drive is the appropriate hard drive for that stuff to get moved off to when I'm done working on it. When it gets delivered to a client, when I'm done with a personal project, it goes off. But then if I need any of that for another new project, I pull it back into the Working Assets folder on my main drive again while I'm working on it.
Okay.
So that's my workflow with that. That's a good question.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that's easiest to do and most enjoyable to look at, I like doing these myself, from the very outset. It was the very first video I ever created that got me interested in doing this stuff, is beauty and scenery. A lot of us are landscape photographers anyway. It's very easy to also be a landscape videographer. So that's, you can look online. There's actually, it's been popular on TV. There are whole TV shows devoted to just beautiful scenery with nice music behind it. There's some show I've seen my parents watch where it's beautiful places in the world filmed from drones and helicopters. with music behind it and other things like that. Yeah, anywhere you'd go out and shoot landscape photography, you can shoot a video. And I do a lot of that just for me, for personal enjoyment. That's one of the things that that I love. Go out and film the waterfalls, the streams, the lakes, the woods, the swamps. I love getting out in the woods and swamps and just putting personal videos together of being out there and doing that. And that's also very simple. You get your footage, you put it together, and then you just put a beautiful cinematic soundtrack behind it. And that's a great place to use slow motion, especially if you've got falling leaves, which was my first video I ever did, and waterfalls, moving water, trees blowing in the wind. These are all great places to add in some slow motion, and it looks beautiful. It's a very easy one to do beauty and scenery. Slow pace. You can use longer clips. You don't have to have lots of cuts and transitions. And easy to put a soundtrack audio behind that. Another thing you do that some of what I do, event coverage, performance coverage. If there's a very interesting event or performance that you've creatively done some filming of, you can work with that. That may just interest you to continue doing it. I document events for some groups and organizations that put on events for their members and stuff, and I make fun videos of it. In the last few years, anybody that's been on any of my workshops knows I make videos of them and give out souvenir videos to the people that were in the workshops, and then reuse some of that footage to make marketing pieces for myself to advertise those workshops again. So
win-win.
What's that?
That's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, things like that. Then in those cases, you also, depending on what the event or performance is, you may need actual recorded audio of that. So you do want to have good recorded audio with your video of the event. And you can also, that's a case where, depending on what it is, where you may want a soundtrack behind it and narrative voiceover, talking going on. Any mix of that may occur with that. And the other fun one to do is action videos. Fast. Now they require more editing. They're fast paced. That's where you have cut. Go to the skateboard park. Go to the BMX bike park. Go to where people are playing soccer or something like that. Anything fast paced, and record it. Put a hard hitting, fast, punchy soundtrack behind it, and do lots of what we call jump cuts. Just chop, cut scenes together very quickly, and those can be very fun to do, especially if you put some fast paced music behind it. And you can have a longer video seem shorter if it has fast pace to the transitions and fast pace to the music. So we see those all the time when you look online.
Where can you get some music for free?
That is exactly the next topic. Perfect timing with the question. So there are several places. If you have an editing program that came with your computer, or an editing program that you bought or that you have a subscription to, if you have a subscription to Adobe and have Premiere Rush or a few other things, some free music comes with it. A lot of your the free video editors that come in Microsoft have some free music that you can use with them. I think Mac probably has the same thing. And there is, if you go on, if you have a YouTube channel, the YouTube Studio has about 800 music tracks you can use, and about 300 and some sound effects clips that you can use with no issues. Because the issue is, you don't want anything that is copyright protected being in your video, because it's going to be, our stuff is our meeting is going to be recorded and put on YouTube, and anything that's copyrighted or protected is going to get our video a copyright strike, and we'll have issues. Same thing if you put it online yourself on your own YouTube channel or whatever, you'll get copyright strikes, and you can get your video taken down and have issues with it. You have to be super careful with music and make sure it's royalty-free music that can be used online. I'll even show you if we do a screen share. I can go on YouTube.
Jim, I got a question. Does free mean it's not copyrighted?
No, free means you didn't have to pay for it. Yeah. And if you steal something that was free anyway, you didn't pay.
Well, it's confusing. How do we identify what is copyrighted and not?
Unless it specifically says it is royalty free or Creative Commons and you can use it without attribution, or you get it, from your software and it says it is okay to use, don't use it. Because pretty much everything is copyright protected unless it specifically says, and it still has copyright, but you are being allowed to use it. A lot of the stuff does have a copyright attached to it, but you are being allowed, to use it, and to use it without paying royalties. So, you can't go record something off the radio or, a CD that you have at home or a record album or whatever and stick it on there. Now, there are and I'll show you where you can get some free stuff on YouTube. In a few minutes, I'll screen share and show you. The easiest thing to do is to find something that doesn't, what they say does not require attribution, which the YouTube Studio, if you have a YouTube channel, does not, which means you don't have to credit the music creator. You don't have to credit the musical artist in your video. There are ones out there that you can use with, they have the Creative Commons license, but it says requires attribution. Now, in the early days, I did some of that, and you have to, on your YouTube channel, in the details, you have to put all the information in. What the song is, who the artist is, a link to the song, where it came from, etc. All that has to be in the description, and it has to be in credits on your video. Just like in the, you watch a movie or a TV show, the credits roll at the end. Then you have to have credits at the end of your video where you say, this is the name of the song by this artist. This is where it came from. Here's a link to it, etc., etc. You roll that in credits at the end of your video and you put it in the details on YouTube. That's for something that requires attribution. That's a pain in the butt. You don't want to have to do that starting out. You want something that's just royalty free that you can use and just put it on there. Now, if you get serious about it, there are a bunch of subscription services that have hundreds of thousands of songs and sound effects. And just like your Adobe Creative Cloud, where you're paying $9.99 a month, you go on these services and you pay them a monthly fee, and then you have hundreds of thousands of songs and sound effects that you can use for free under their license. Some of them will give you, when you download the song, they'll say, here's the YouTube code. And you just put the YouTube code in the description so that YouTube sees that code and won't give you copyright strike. Some of them now you don't even need that. So, and there's things like Epidemic Sound, Soundstripe. There's so many of them out there now that you can go out and get a license for. Now, up until recently, the mainstream music that you hear on the radio and stuff like that, licensing was way beyond reach of any creator like you and I. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars for licensing fees to get a popular song on the radio. That's actually changed recently. There is a subscription service. It's still not cheap, but it's called Lickd, Lickd. And you can pay a monthly fee there. And then they have lots of the popular songs that you do know and that are on the radio and by mainstream artists. And then depending on the track you're interested in and what you're going to do with it, then you pay an additional licensing fee for it, but that's a reasonable licensing fee. It could be $10, it could be $30, depending on the track. But you then, it has become within reach of the average creator now, if it's important to you, to be able to get some of this mainstream music through that service.
That is the definition of not free.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Now I have, for the content that I create, I subscribe to two services that not only provide music and sound effects, but they also supply stock video clips that you can use for B-roll and things like that. In the still photography world, you guys are aware there are stock photography services, even Adobe, Adobe stock, that you can submit your pictures to yourself and can make some limited use of, for free. You're putting an advertising campaign together, and you can't send a photographer out here, there, and get every single shot. You go on a stock service, Adobe stock, Getty, wherever, and you get stock still photos to use. Well, there are video stock services too, where you can get video clips that you can use, and they're licensed just like you license a still photo. You can have a subscription to services. So I have two services where I get that material from, because for the content I'm creating for clients, no, today I can't go scuba diving today and film somebody underwater, for a commercial, and I can't go to the mountains and photograph these people skiing down a hill and on snowboards and stuff. But I can get the footage because somebody else filmed it and made it available as stock. And so I subscribe to a couple services that give me music and sound effects and stock video clips. Does that make sense?
Jim, I just did a quick search and there was something called Ben Sound.
Called what?
Ben Sound.
I haven't heard of that one, but there are so many out there that there's probably more that I haven't heard of than the ones that I have heard of.
I'm going to send it to you and you can look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending it to Lynn too.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Jim, what kind of fees do you pay for the services you subscribe to? Just generally, round numbers.
I think one of them I'm paying $9.99 a month for, and one of them I'm paying $15 a month for.
So it's not exorbitant.
No, and like I say, for me, I justify it because I'm doing stuff that I'm getting paid for by clients, and that covers the cost. But then that stuff is also available to me for my personal work, as well, if I need, if I want to throw that, especially for the music. The music is so important. A lot of people will tell you that when you're posting social media video, that your soundtrack and audio is more important than the video. Studies have shown that people will watch a crappy video that sounds good, but people will turn off and not play a good-looking video that has crappy sound or bad music. That's a fact.
I can do half of that right now.
What's that, Jim?
I can do half of that right now. Crappy video without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's if you do get if you do get involved in video and really and enjoy it and start to have fun with it, get serious about it, that's that's another whole thing that you don't deal with in still photography is audio. And audio is a whole nother set of lessons in and of itself. But because I've gotten to the point where I have to be, because I'm doing it for money and a little serious about it, that's why you see things like this, in my room here, and and other things over here that you're not seeing right now that the money's all tied up in. So, and like I say, these subscriptions for music and sound effects and things like that. So, but even before I started monetizing what I was doing in video, I did have to get one subscription service, because just in order to build up a portfolio and just in order to get good at it myself, I needed to have access to good music and sound effects at the very least. As like, just like you're a still photographer, as you get serious about it, you need to have access to good cameras and good lenses and good tripods. And in the world of video, okay, a good source for music and sound effects is just as important to a videographer as your lens, your camera, or anything else. It's another tool, is what it is. And it's just it's a tool. You're paying $9.99 a month or $15 a month to lease that tool. So I'll show you. Let me.
Are you going to list those free things, Jim, or
list what things?
the free music thing?
Yeah, I'm going right now. I'm even going to go on YouTube and show you where you can get
Thanks.
music on YouTube.
Even if you don't have a channel?
If you don't have a channel, you can get to some services that you can, and you have to look and see. You can that have attribution required, and I'll show you an example of how to do that. I can show you some of my early stuff where I was using that and did that, and I can show you the credit screen on the video that was done. So you'll see that. Let me get up on my screen. I'll get our channel on here.
There is, like, if you guys have iMovie, the Apple folks, if you have iMovie, there is iMovie has some royalty free music in there and sound effects as well. So if you have iMovie available, then you can actually use that as well. I'm not sure about the PC side of things, but iMovie does. Yeah.
Thanks, Lynn.
And if you have an iPad, if you create a video in your iPad, there's music available on your iPad too that's royalty free.
Using the iMovie?
Yeah, it's different. Or you can actually use the video part of the, where it makes memories. You can use that. It has music in there too. So,
Man, lots of things pop up when you put in royalty-free music. There's all kinds of stuff here.
Yep, and you just and a lot of it is and I'll let you know, a lot of it is before you can get to it. A lot of it is designed to showcase artists that are willing to put some music out there for exposure. And before you have to jump through some hoops before you can download the track. A lot of times with that stuff is one of the hoops you have to jump through is to subscribe to the publishing service that musician publishes their music to, etc. And then you have to jump through some hoops. It's if you have a subscription to a service, it's very easy. You find something you like, you hit the download button, you use it. Gotcha. But I'm going to show you right here. This is the TBCC YouTube channel, and actually, you find over here. If you click the little menu over here, scroll down, and there it is, YouTube Studio. See it right here?
Yep.
But is that with a paid account? Because I don't have a paid free. I mean, I don't.
No, this is free.
YouTube channels are free.
YouTube's free. Yep. So in here, see right here, it says audio library.
Yep.
music.
Oh, wow.
These are songs, and you go over here, you just roll your mouse over it and download. Here's the button where you can play it to listen to it and see, do I like that? There's some, descriptions of the genre, the mood, to help you find something. And last I looked here, they had about 800 songs. Oh yeah, right here, 1 through 30 of about 799 songs. So right here is about 799 songs you can use for free in your videos without subscribing to anything, without jumping through hoops, without needing attribution. Here is sound effects. So you need sound effects. Yeah, you got that, and you can mark things as your favorite. See the star. Anything you click with the stars, you can go through and listen to songs and say, oh, I like that. I might want to use that in a video. Oh, I like this. I might want to use that in an action video. I like this for a cinematic. You can mark stars on them, and then over here where it says starred, you find your favorites that you mark with a star, so that you can spend some time when you have free time going through music, finding songs that you like, marking it, and then going over here to your favorites to pick them and download them. So there's one source right there.
I saw another one, Jim, that said stocktune.com.
Yeah, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of them. I've never heard of that one either.
And that's broken up into like instrumental, intense.
Oh yeah, and yeah, any of them are like that. Yep.
Yeah, that's all of those, Diane, are going to have hoops that you have to jump through, and it's really more of a subscription than it looks like. Yeah, they make it look like it's free, but it's really not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lynn.
Here, actually, if you're on YouTube, you can do this. YouTube Music for Creators.
Do we need free in there?
And
looking for
audio
videos, Jim.
It's not accepting the
because it's looking for videos.
Oh, because you got to go under videos. Thank you, Lynn, and search here.
I put it in and it came right up for audio library.
He was in a different screen. He was in the music screen.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff.
You can find stuff here, and
they have a subscription too. See it right there. It's just
royalty-free music for YouTube, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but like I say, with some, you have to, as you use these, every one of them has their own, you have to do this, you have to do that in order to use it for free. Things that say anything that says requires attribution, I will show you what you do for attribution.
Do you think you get more songs if you pay for YouTube?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
if you have, you're saying if you have YouTube Premium.
Yeah,
I
think
YouTube,
that.
Yeah, scroll that up, Jim.
I don't know if they've changed that or not, but it used to be that music library that I showed you a minute ago was the same whether you had premium YouTube or regular. Okay. So I do not know if that's if they have changed that to give you more music now if you have YouTube Premium in that library or not.
Scroll up on the screen because it had premium up there and it might have more. Right there. It says 100 million ad-free songs or more. So yeah, there's more if you have premium.
Where are you?
But Lynn, that's to listen to, not to use in your videos.
Oh, that's not to use. Turn up with.
That's their version of Spotify or Pandora or you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's for you to listen to without listening to ads while you're like if you have free Pandora or free Spotify, or if you're on your free YouTube right now and you watch music videos, they stick an ad in the middle of it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's what that is. Now, right here, this is what you want to. This is the one. I started out, this is where I got some content from, right here. It says Audio Library Music for Content Creators. And you can subscribe here. But, it says, no copyright music, vlog music, royalty-free music. But most of it requires attribution. And then for every artist that you say, oh, I want to use this song, you also have to subscribe to that artist's personal channel. So you subscribe to to this audio library. Then for every artist you find a song you like, you have to subscribe to their publishing service. Then you have to give attribution to that artist and their song in your video. So it's multiple hoops you have to jump through, and I'll show you what that looks like. So let me navigate to this so I can show it to you. Videos, assets, MP4, stuff. I have to stop sharing for a minute so that I can get to the advanced for playing the video. Hang on. Let me go back.
While Jim is doing that, just as a heads up, the generative fill is broken in Photoshop. I called Adobe today because it wasn't working, and they said it's down on their server.
Oh.
So just
they added it to Lightroom, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Now 10 million more people are using it, and it broke the servers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
they added it to Lightroom 2 days ago, and it works like crap. It's terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with it.
They'll get there. It's a beta, so it'll get better.
But just giving.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to launch an old video, and by the way, I'll let it play for a minute. Just a couple seconds of it here and there. This would fall in that genre of beauty and scenery videography. And I found a song that I liked to put behind it. And in fact, I liked the song so much that I found that I made the video long enough to fit the song. But you'll see, I'll show you the attribution at the end of it. But yeah, and this is, you can see it's slow motion and a nice soundtrack, and it's just all, a nice slow transition there.
That Pemaquid, Jim?
Say it again, Lynn?
That Pemaquid at Maine?
Yeah, that's when we went to Maine. I did this when we were in Maine. But there's attribution right at the end. Music credits. The song is called Trust and the artist is Mr. Business. And then here's the link to go to it. And if this video were on YouTube, this information right here also needs to be in the description for YouTube. So this is attribution to the art. That's one of the requirements to use it for free from some of those services. I don't do this now because I don't want to worry about putting these credits on the end and putting the credits online and all that. I'm paying a monthly fee to not have to do this and have more at my disposal.
Does that make sense? Then how do they know? I mean, how do they know what's royalty free and what's not?
Well, I say this goes in the because what happens is the artist and their publishing the publishing service for the artist has robots that will go out and look for the music, and if it finds the music on YouTube, then it wants to look and see that this stuff is there. And they will send a notification to the artist that says, hey, we found your song on this video. And then the artist can go and look and say, oh, look, the person that put this video up didn't credit me properly. And, then they submit a takedown notice to YouTube. YouTube takes your video offline and gives you a copyright strike.
Okay.
That's how it works. Their publishing service has robots that will look, that's looking at YouTube and online for the song. And if it finds the song, it looks for this stuff. It notifies the artist. The artist can look for this stuff, and then action can be taken. So, you don't want to get your YouTube channel shut off and get your videos taken down. And for us, for our meeting next month, you don't want to get our video taken down by not doing it correctly as far as the music is concerned. So if you do use music that requires attribution, before we publish our recording of our meeting online, we're going to have to go in for anybody that did that, and we're going to have to put this in the description in the YouTube channel.
So please don't use that. Use free music.
For purposes for purposes of what we're doing next month, please use something that is comes in your video editor software, your iMovie, whatever, or if you're really interested in it, get a subscription and download a song from a subscription service.
Jim, it's the same as our work. We don't want anybody using our photographs without giving us credit.
Exactly. Yep. We're all content creators of one sort of content or another.
Yep. So how do we put all this together?
Now that is a can of worms, because everybody that's a beginner is probably going to start out with whatever came free in their computer. So there's basic programs where you're going to take your clips, drop them on a timeline, cut off what you don't want to use, leave what you do want to use, put them together. And for the most part, anything that comes free in your computer will give you some transitions you can put on there, some crossfades and things like that you can have where you don't put any effects on it, where it just jumps from one clip to another. That's called a jump cut. In fact, that video you saw there had a mix. It had some crossfades and it had some jump cuts in it. And it had at one point what's called a whip transition. There was only 3 types of transitions used in it, and a jump cut is actually, you don't have to do anything. That's just 2 clips butted up against each other where it jumps from one to the other. And you get some very simple tools in your free editor that will allow you to do some basic stuff like that. And some of them have some gimmicky things like, barn door wipes and things like that that you can do. Depending on your video, sometimes some of those gimmicky transitions can be fun. There's one I made. I do some videos for friends of things that we do. I've got a group of people that we play Friday night poker games, Friday night Monopoly games, things like that. And there's one night we played AC/DC Monopoly, followed by a disco dance party. And my friend at his house has the smoke machines, the colored lights, the actual disco lasers in the ceiling, and everything. And we had a disco party. And when I put that video together, I used every cheesy 1990s video transition from 1990s dance videos that I could think of in that, just to bolster that effect. With the right thing, those gimmicky transitions can be fun. So
are you going to show us how to do that though, real quick, quick and down and dirty? So what to do?
You know what? Oh wow! Look, yeah, Premiere's still open from the because I just rendered the video an hour before the meeting that you watched, and it's still on my machine. Can you see that?
No, we're still seeing the credits at the end of the video that you showed us.
Okay, let me change the screen sharing. Oh, yeah, right, because that was just sharing, playing a video. Yeah, you got to see that.
And basically, guys, this you actually had this in Photoshop.
Yeah,
which
and it's pretty horrible in Photoshop, I'll tell
pretty
you.
horrible. But if
It's
you
pretty
have
horrible, but you can do it.
But if you have iMovie and you have iMovie in your iPhone or your iPad or you're on your Mac desktop, you can use that. And I'm sure there's something equivalent to that on your PC. Is that correct, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Some basic
Yep.
program
If
that
you
you
have
can.
Windows, you have two programs now that are free in Windows. You have Windows Video, which lets you do some basic video editing. All my first videos were made in that when I first started playing around with video. Now they have a little more advanced one called Clipchamp that you can use for free in the Microsoft environment. I know Mac has iMovie. You can go online. There are free online video editors. I haven't used it, but I know some people that use Canva and really like the free video editor on Canva, and they may even have some free music available there as well. I'm not sure, but this is a timeline. This part of it down here, this part is going to look pretty much the same in any video editor. I got to move a zoom window off of this. This is the basics of it. This is the music down here in the green. That's a music track. And up here, this is a super simple video. This is what you'll see in a simple video editor. This is a simple timeline. I only have one video track. You can have, in a complicated editor, you can have unlimited stacked up tracks. Did somebody have a question? Or does somebody have a TV playing in the background or something, I guess?
Background music, yeah. So background sound. Somebody's
not muted.
Okay. But let me jump to the beginning. Here are clips. You see the clips?
Yeah.
Up here on the right, that's what's actually going to play. So I'm scrubbing through the timeline right now with a playhead. You can go at whatever speed you want, and that's the first clip. And then you see this box right here. That's a cross dissolve. That's where one fades into the other. Do you see that fade happening?
Yeah.
I'll make that. I'll make this bigger up here. That's one clip fading into another.
Yep.
And in real time, I'll let you watch it. I'll mute the audio. But yeah, do you see it happen in real time?
Yeah. Yep.
Here's what you can do with these things. Creatively, you can say, "Oh, I want a longer cross dissolve." Now watch. See that happen?
Yep.
So that's at the limit of that one, and that limit is due to how many frames there are, in the clips. And so you see, as I put this together, I dropped a bunch of short cross dissolves. You're so used to seeing these in TV and movies that you don't even think about it. It becomes normal visually for you to see this. You don't even think that one changed to another. But
Gotcha.
you see so much of that when you get a jump cut, then it's a little bit okay. See right here between this clip and this clip, there's nothing. That's a jump cut. Watch it. You won't see a fade. See that?
Yeah.
That's called a jump cut. That's simple. That's just sticking two clips together, butting one clip right up against the next. And there's more cross dissolves. And now here's a whip transition. I'll let you see it in slow motion. See that?
Oh, it's like it's
now watch it in real time.
Yeah, it's like panning
And
over.
you can speed it up, make it happen real quick. See that?
Yeah.
Barely.
Or even that, you could really drag that out. This is probably going to look pretty scary. Well, even that could be creative in its own way.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are transitions. It's just a way for you to get your viewer from one clip to the next clip. And even any basic free video editor will have these. Now, you can, like I say, they'll also have, because people think they're fun. I mean, gosh, even all the way back, my Windows 8 machine had Windows Movie, which had like 20 different transitions and everything. Any free one will have all kinds of things going on. Yeah, there's another whip transition right there that I put in from that
Hey, Jim.
into that parallax.
Can you do one where can you do just a quick thing from scratch to show them how to get the clips in there and the music in there?
Yeah, I'll just use the end of this timeline rather than going through the effort of starting a new project. I'll just put some things onto the end. So let me go to.
Be careful what you pull out, since you weren't expecting.
Now, see, I have. You see this? This is the folder with the source material right here.
Where'd
You
get
see
that
it?
from?
What's that?
Where did you get that from?
Actually, my other screen. I have 3 screens.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Not that
wherever
I
you
can
say
see.
wherever you saved your video clips. That's where you're going to. It doesn't matter where you got them.
When you're in a video editor, you're going to have a place where you put all your clips.
Okay.
To work with. Okay, so let's just start over. Let's take clip number 1. Now, this is something that's advanced that you won't have with a free editor, but you can do it to a certain extent. So I'm going to show you something. Okay, in an advanced, what we call NLE, nonlinear editor, this is a source window, and here's a timeline for that. The entire video clip that was recorded in the camera starts there. You see that little blue playhead?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And goes all the way to there. Okay.
Right.
But I'm only using this highlighted area here.
Okay.
This little thing, that's called an in point. That's called an out point. I'm telling the editor, this is where I'm making, I'm saying, and it's 5 seconds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the timeline markers?
Yep.
I recorded about 7.5 seconds, and I'm saying, I want this 5 seconds right here. But I can say, oh, you know what? No, I really want 6 seconds worth. No, I really want 4 seconds worth. And so in this case, the entire video, the entire clip, this is non-destructive editing, by the way. I'm marking what's going to get used. Only what's in between this in point and out point is what's going to get used. I haven't actually cut this clip. Right. I'm just telling it, oh, okay, only use these 5 seconds.
Okay.
And and there they are. I dropped that 5 seconds on the timeline. But in an advanced editor, this is the nice thing. It's non-destructive. I can go in here, and up here you're watching what's really on the timeline. Here's just the something else working. Yep. So I get to there, and I'm working on it, and I say, you know what? I really wish I hadn't made that endpoint there. I want it to be longer, because it's non-destructive editing. Oh, look, I have that extra footage is there. Or I can say, you know what? I dropped too much on this timeline. I really want it to be shorter. I'm going to do that. Now, in a basic editor, your whole clip is, and here I'm going to just expand the view on that. In a basic editor, you're just going to drop the whole clip on here, and then you're going to say, oh, I want it to start here. And in a basic editor, you actually have to cut it. You're going to have a thing that looks like scissors in your toolbox or something, or a keyboard command, in which case you have to cut it, and you have to cut it, and then you delete what you don't want. And in a basic editor, that's destructive editing, and that's, you have left what you have left. You've cut your clip. So depending on how advanced or how basic the video editor program you choose to use depends on whether it's going to be destructive or non-destructive, and whether you still have that footage there that you just cut off or not. You see what I'm
Jim,
saying?
can I ask a question about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I have Adobe Premiere Element, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if I cut it as you have done there, it will only put the parts that I have left there that I've cut. But in the clip where I have it brought down, it still stores it. It still has
Right. The original is still intact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, but it is a clunkier workflow because you have to drop it in. Now I don't know Premiere Elements. I've never worked in it, but a lot of basic editors, you don't get to set what we call in and out points. Before to work with, you just have to drop it on the timeline and cut it. Where you want, and also if you want some of the front, and you don't want the middle, but you want the end, you can make 2 clips out of it.
Jim, what's the blue part that you had at the end? What is that? Is that to make the transition that you want to do into the next clip, or
be more descriptive about the blue part at the end?
Before you did that cutting at the very end, you had a couple of seconds of just blue. It was just blue, no picture.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Okay.
There.
All right. Here, all this is so it's a good question. In a video editor, a lot of them, you get a thumbnail here, and as long as your timeline is stretched out big enough, to show you, it will show you the whole thumbnail. And that's just a thumbnail while you're editing, so you know what that clip is, okay? The whole clip, watch up above, you see, is playing. Yeah. But they stick a thumbnail at the beginning of the clip. So if I go over here and get, I'll get another clip, okay? And I'll put it on there. Oh, see, there's original sound. I don't want that. And you see that clip. So you can zoom in or out of your timeline. You see the second marks up here. You see the tick marks for the seconds.
Right.
Yeah. You can zoom in and out so you can see more of your video at once, or less of it, and be more precise about where your cuts are and things like that.
Okay.
But they give you a thumbnail. This whole blue line is your video clip, but there's a thumbnail on there so that when you start, I'll go over here to the other one. See all these clips? So the really long clips, there's still a thumbnail there. But as I'm going through here, that's just a reference. And I say, oh, yeah, I know what that clip is. Oh, yeah, I know what that clip is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you make a very short clip, the thumbnail is a fixed size. If you keep shortening your clip, well, then it cuts into the thumbnail.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And it will expand until you get to the end of the thumbnail, and then it just starts showing you more. And blue on my timeline right now indicates that it's video. You notice over here in the original, you see all these pink clips.
They're stills.
Those are still photos.
Yeah.
Yep. Audio is green. Still photos are pink. video clips are blue, and
Okay, but
transitions.
that blue
transition to
actually
a
has
brown.
information in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I understand.
Okay, now show them how to get the audio in there, Jim.
The audio is as simple as that. Let me jump over here, okay, and see here. Here's my stills that were used. Here's my audio that was used. There was a song that I used, okay, and even a song you can chop up, if you want, and put, in and out points, whatever. So over here, I've got, I think about 12, 13 seconds of video, maybe. And this is a 3-minute and 40-second long song. So I'm just going to, go in and, I'm going to cut about 15 seconds worth. So there's an out point. There's an in point. So now I'm taking just a little bit of audio to bring down here. Come on. Bring it down. And it does. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Never mind. I'm dragging from the, doing the wrong thing here. So there, and here I can stretch out the audio, but it's you just drag audio in any editor. The audio tracks go below the video, and you can sync up, the audio track. You can say, oh, you know what? I want the audio track to actually start, a couple seconds into the first clip, so I have silence at first. Or you can say, you know what? I want the music to start before I see the video. So now you get this. Here I muted that track. Let me unmute that track. So now you'll hear the music. If you watch up here in the box, you'll hear the music before you see the song, before you see the video. Then the video comes in. Or, you can say, oh, wait, you know what? I want to see a little video before the music kicks in. So you can...
When you stretched out the video, what exactly happens?
You can stretch the video out all the way to as long as how much you actually originally recorded.
Oh, okay, okay.
From the time you hit the record button to the time you stop the record button, that much is available to you, in here. So you can see there's how much video I actually recorded with the camera on this clip.
But if you ran out of out of audio, then you have to paste in a duplicate clip to get it to start over again.
Or you change songs and you start another song, or you duplicate the music, or in an advanced editor like this, they have AI that can find the beats and the actual, and here, look, I'm going to zoom right in and let you see the soundtrack here. You can go in and you can find yourself and know exactly where you want to cut it and splice it so that it sounds seamless, and you can stretch your music. However, there is AI in the very advanced editors like this that will cut pieces of your music out or add pieces of a music track in to make it seamlessly as short or as long as you need it to be for something. So, for instance, I'm going to show you here on the original movie. Let me get rid of this stuff we were playing with. I don't need that. Oh, I got an in and out point there. Do you see this squiggly line?
No.
Squiggly line?
The squiggly line in the green right here?
No.
Oh, down below.
Down below.
Yeah, in the audio track, you see that squiggly line?
Yeah.
That's where AI did a splice for me
Oh, okay.
and cut
Okay.
some of this out because this track was originally a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, and I had some cut out. Let's just say, let's do this. This is, you can't do this with a cheap free editor, but while we're in here, what the heck? Let me find the window I need. I'm starting to get stuff all over the place. I need to find a window that I lost that
Buried somewhere.
I have 3 screens worth of windows for this program right now, and I gotta find. Where it went. Let me do this. See if it comes back. There it is. It got covered up behind another window. Okay, here we go. Video. All right, because normally, this is why it's great to have a lot of monitors when you're working with a video editor, because not only do I have the screen you see, on my other screen I have all the source clips. I have all the controls for the special effects. I have all the exposure and color correction tools for the clips. I've got a thing called a scope.
We won't have all that stuff.
Which is this is the videography version of a histogram. This is a video histogram you're looking at right there. I've got that up there, and audio mixing board and sound effects tools. This is why you want lots of real estate on your screen when you start editing video, because you like to have all this stuff on other monitors while you do your editing in this one. But we're going to do this. We're going to drop on another clip. And by the way, when I did this, you see this audio track down here? This is the audio that was actually recorded by the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see? Hear that?
Yep.
Yeah. We don't need that. We're going to delete that because you don't want that competing with the music. And we've got another clip. And, more original sound. Yeah. We don't need that.
I was having a good time.
So now I've extended my movie, but my song isn't long enough. So, oh no. So I'm going to go to my audio track, and if you're paying for a good editor like this, you can say, you know what? I need my song to be as long as the movie. And now you see right here, see between these squiggly lines?
Yeah.
Everywhere you see squiggly lines, AI did a cut and splice that is seamless, that you won't hear while you're playing the music, and it stretched the song out to be as long as my video. And I can say, oh, you know what? I really don't need that clip at the end. Nobody wants to see that. Oh, now I've got too much music. I need my music to be that long now. Oh, and you know what? You have to use the right tool. That just cut the music off, what I just did. This is the AI tool that says, figure it out and make cuts and splices.
Oops, made it too short.
It made it too short.
But in your basic free editors, you're not going to have that ability. You'll have to cut and splice sound yourself, or put another song, in, and you can, in most cases, do a fade out. A lot of free editors will let you do a fade out, where at least, in this instance, let's say, I got a song that was kind of close, to as long as my music, but, I needed to fade. So in a normal free editor, you're going to say, yep, there's the end of my movie. I'm gonna cut off the end of the music, but now this is what it's going to sound like. Oop, let me just get closer. Ooh, that's brutal. So you go to effects and you've got audio transitions, and there's types of fade. You get one called a constant power. You drop it on there, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. This is a fade, and I'm going to stretch that fade out. Now you've got an audio fade out. Much nicer.
Much nicer.
And your free video editors, will give you some way to have a fade out. Some will just say fade out, fast or slow. And you don't even drop anything like this on it. You just go in the menu and say music fade out, and it'll give you like a fast, medium, or slow option for the fade out. In this case, on a good editor, you can adjust your fade out. And this is, not even really the really good way to do it. There's a better way to do it. This is the down and dirty way to do it in a real edit.
Jim, I think we're already after 9 o'clock. I think the only other thing that I've seen other folks have a hard time doing is what you do now that you've got it on there. How do you get it so that it's at MP4 file that you can?
You will have your video editor will have an option that will say export or render.
Okay, show them that,
Yeah,
because it's hard to find.
And in this case right up here it says export. And this being a professional editor, it has way more options than you will ever know what to do with. In most cases, with a free editor, you're going to have no options or barely any options. The one thing you will want to make sure you do is in the type, you want to make sure it says MP4. Okay? Because that's the format that every streaming service will play back their videos on, and what we'll want to work with. If you export it and it says .mov or something like that, it on the other end, it has to go through a process that's called transcoding, which basically is reformatting it from MOV to MP4. MOV is, if you're using Apple products, a lot of things, if you record with an iPhone or anything like that, your clips are all going to be MOV. That's Apple format, but no online service streams anything in the Apple format. And that probably has to do with Apple wants money from everybody to do their thing. So everything out there uses MP4. And if you have the option when you export it to make sure it says MP4, do that. That's the one real thing to watch for when you export, is that it's MP4 and 30 FPS. Now, just so you know, depending on the products you're using, you may see a frame rate that says 29.97. Just realize that 29.97 for all intents and purposes is 30. Okay? You see 29.97, don't be concerned. That's 30. I'm not even going to go down the rabbit hole of what's the difference between 30 and 29.97. In all of our world, it's not a difference.
And depending on how long your clip, your video is, and how slow your computer is, it may take some time.
Yes, when I first started doing my first videos some years ago, when I hit the export or the render button, I would go watch a TV show and come back and see if it was done. So yes, that depends on your computer. Now, for instance, like the just under the 4-minute movie that we watched earlier that I finalized right before I reheated my pizza on this machine, that took 90 seconds to render. But on my when I first started doing this on my old Windows 8 machine, that would have been about a 90-minute render.
That's why that's part of the reason why we're keeping the videos short, because we don't want you. I mean, the first time I tried to render, I thought it wasn't doing anything, and I kept rendering it over and over again because I thought it wasn't doing anything. It was just taking time. That's all. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing that when you're starting out. It's just like with your still photos, and just like what happens when you submit them, and then you're like, oh, I never saw that. Or, you're all done with an image, and then you go put it on your website, or you put it out there on Facebook, or wherever, and then suddenly you realize, oh no, look at that. I got to go back and fix my picture. Well, with video, you've got this whole long story of all these clips put together and transitions and sound. You're going to tell your computer to render. You're going to let it run. You're going to watch a TV show, eat a sandwich, whatever. You're going to come back. You're going to play it in your video player, and it's going to come up full screen, and it's going to play with all the music through your speakers. And all of a sudden, you're going to look at something, and you're going to say, oh my God, look at that. I got to go back and fix it and do all this again. So, yeah. So there's some of the, putting it together. Like I say, that the timeline, every editor that you work with, this is the gist of it. There's a timeline. You drop clips on it. You make transitions. You cut your clips where you want. You make transitions between them. You put your audio in. You render it. So, and
are these files 90-second videos that we send in? Are they going to be too big for an email or?
Well, we can set up Dropbox or other possible things. Also, if you're sending something that's too big for email, Gmail has an alternate service for, it'll say, oh, this file is too big, and give you an option to do what.
Go to a link. Go to a link.
Yeah, we'll probably go ahead and just set up a Dropbox. I think that's what we did last year, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can set up a Dropbox and give everybody a link and say, here, just follow this link, put your videos in the Dropbox. So, yeah, right now.
It's gonna. We had to do the timeline or the time lapse videos a little different than we. Obviously you don't play. You can't play. You can play them on Lightroom, but you can't. There's no sound.
Oh,
so.
and speaking of which, time lapse is a bunch of still photos strung together to look like a movie. That's not what this is. Don't turn in a time lapse. Now, if you want to have 5 or 10 seconds of time lapse because it's part of your creative video, okay, but this is not to be a time lapse video. We want to see you do this. We want to see you string some clips together with some audio and tell a story for us.
Right.
And like I say, we're not really going to be, you're going to get bonus points if you do a real good job with this part, but we're looking at your, did you make something that was interesting and fun to watch? Did you put just like with your photos, did you put a compelling story together? Was this interesting to watch and see? Did it have visual impact? Et cetera, et cetera. The technical part on this is going to be a low part of the scoring. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because think of the first time you ever started putting pictures in Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever. and what you had to deal with. That didn't necessarily mean that when you were out there with a camera, the idea is get out there with a camera and get something interesting recorded, just like with still photography. This technical part, this is it's important, but this you're going to need, this is where you're going to practice, and your skill is going to come in later down the road. We're not putting a heavy weight on this part of it.
Yeah, Jim, could you show them, by any chance, could you pull up Photoshop and just show them where that is in there if they want to use Photoshop?
Absolutely. Yeah. And yes, if you want to,
we almost all have Photoshop. Tori doesn't, but I'm trying to push her in that direction.
I have iMovie at my in my iPad, so I have tried that before. So I'll probably try that.
Yeah, use if you have iMovie, or you have the program in the PC. If you're a PC person and you have that, I mean, what the whole idea is of this is do something different, a little something that you're not used to doing every day. So
right.
Up here where it says window, you know where you have this in Photoshop.
Yep.
There is something that you normally don't have checked when you're working on photos called timeline. And make my brush smaller, but you'll go up here and you will turn on timeline, and you get a palette that opens up with a timeline. See, here's the video clip. There's that video clip of the video, and this track you see with the music note, this is where you would put music. Let me see here. And see, I haven't even done this, and I did that wrong. There's a way to insert the music here. Yeah, okay, add audio. There's a little arrow right here with the music note. Clip it, add audio, and then it will let you browse for a song. Yeah, you notice it didn't even let me drag it and drop it in like I'm so used to in Premiere Pro. I just tried to do that, and it was like, what? No. Then you have to go here and and look for your music and drop it in.
Yeah, just be careful, because it will take you to your, it could take you to your, if you have music files on here that you've got from, Spotify or wherever that you've downloaded, it will take you to that, but you don't want to use those because those are obviously not royalty free. Just because the computer brings you to that point doesn't mean that you can use that music. So be careful. Right.
That is true. Here's a bunch of music I have downloaded from my licensed services that I've used in things. So I'll pick that there. So, and now it added in a song, but there's no stretching it, to make it fit. It's not long enough, and it's like, okay, well, I need to add it again and let it repeat itself. Oh, and now it's almost long enough. Well, maybe I need to cut my video short to match the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the Photoshop timeline. It is worse than any free editor that came with your computer. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted them to understand.
If you're a glutton for punishment, this is the way you want to do it.
Yeah, they're paid that monthly fee for Photoshop, so at least they know that that's there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, do you happen to know if the video editor in Photoshop came out like as a response to the free software like QuickTime?
No, that timeline has always been in Photoshop forever, because one of the main uses for it in Photoshop is for putting together time lapse.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's primarily what it's in Photoshop for, is for time lapse, and also, the animated GIFs.
Yeah.
That
Oh
you
yeah,
see?
the ones
It's for
that
making those.
Photoshop.
That was, that's why it was originally in Photoshop, was for time lapse and making animated GIF files. It was never really intended to be a video editor. That's why they have other, other software for that. But like I say, anything free that came with your computer is 10 times better than that.
Hey, Jim, what about Premiere Rush? Isn't that included with your with Photoshop and Lightroom?
It may be, I don't know, because I'm paying for Premiere. I
Yeah,
know
me
I have
too.
Premiere Rush, but I don't know if I have it because I'm paying for Premiere, or whether you really get it as part of your subscription to Adobe if you don't have, as part of your photographer's package. I don't know if that's included in the $9.99 a month. And Adobe apparently really wants you to drive you to the real Premiere, because even Premiere Rush is kind of clunky. I've tried it for a couple things, and I'm so used to the real Premiere. I get into Premiere Rush and I'm lost, and it's slower for me than using the full-blown Premiere, because it's so different that I waste time trying to figure out how to do the same thing there that I know how to do somewhere else.
Right. But for these guys, if you've got the Adobe subscription, I would check and go up to your the little infinity sign at the top. It's your where all your Adobe apps are, and click on that and see if that is one of the apps that you have, because that's another place where you probably can get free music as well. So
yes, it does. It does
yeah.
have a library. It does have a library of free music with Premiere Rush. There is a music library there. Premiere Rush is Adobe's intended tool for content creators, for TikTok, Instagram, etc., that are out there using mobile devices and whatnot, and just want to really quickly knock something together and get it out there on their social media. That's the intention. That's why they call it Premiere Rush. It's you're in a hurry, just want to be down and dirty and knock out a video for TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Here you go. That's the intention behind that tool. And I'm not one of those people. I don't use that. My projects are more time consuming and more serious, and not something to be rushed out in 5 minutes. Yeah. So now, I know we've gone well past 9, and I'm willing if anybody is interested and wants to stay on, I can show some example videos that have different things like that and whatnot, or we can all just say, nope, done for the night. But if anybody does want to see any different examples and samples of things like that, I have a library full of stuff I can pull from and show if anybody wants to see any examples of any of that stuff.
Also, don't forget that he uploaded the 2 videos along with notes, the PDF notes from the 2 classes that he did on video already outside of the club. So there's one that's all about settings, which will make your brain blow up because it's so complicated. And then the other one, which he did a couple of weeks ago, is it's more details about the Ninja Walk and how to hold your camera and how to move around with your camera. Those are it's a couple of hours, so it's a lot of information. We obviously didn't have time to do all that here, so there is more information there. And then in the future, he's going to be doing one in more detail on post-processing. So
yeah, that's going to be the next big 2-hour one that I do is. What we just touched on some of that stuff lightly. Hang on for a second. Alexa, cancel. Pardon the interruption. Alexa's reminding me that I have to pay some bills.
Jim, I have a technical question that's somewhat related. if you have the time and.
Oh yeah, like I say,
inclination.
I am willing to stay on for anybody that is, that wants to stay on and has more questions or wants to see more stuff. We covered what was intended to be covered, but I am willing to show examples and stay on and answer questions as long as anybody wants to stay on with me tonight.
For the purposes of this assignment, would it be acceptable if we got ideas about the content of our video by consulting Stormy Daniels?
Well, outside the scope of this club.
How long have you been thinking of that question, Brian? Jim, I have a technical question. It's very annoying. It's happened several times. I can hear everything on my Dell computer. I use Dell for my Zoom. But when you play or anybody plays a video, I do not get any sound. I have pushed every button I can figure to push, and I can't get sound out of my computer when you play one of these video.
Oh my goodness! Now, when I was playing videos tonight, were other people hearing the soundtrack?
Yes,
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Okay.
wasn't, but I haven't downloaded. You told me before about taking my Zoom, getting out of Zoom and reinstalling it. I
Yeah,
haven't
and
done
now I have my computer, my primary computer that I'm on is also a Dell computer, and when Lynn plays videos over Zoom, I always hear the audio from her videos. So
I
that
have a
sounds like
Dell
it's
too.
so that's like it sounds like it's something isolated, maybe in one of your Zoom settings or something. I don't necessarily know that it's Dell computer related, Jack. I don't know. You seem to be, the odd man out with that problem, so I wouldn't know where to point
See,
you.
mine does the same thing, but like I said, I haven't canceled out Zoom and reinstalled it yet.
Yeah,
I've gone.
It's a Zoom problem. Huh?
I've gone down to the audio icon and tried different settings there. I've pushed every button possible and re-pushed them more than once. And I can't get audio. And anytime there's a video showing.
Jack, are you?
Hey, Jack,
yeah,
I'm looking at something right now you might want to look at.
Yeah.
Because I have a very complex, system here. Now, next to your little microphone icon in Zoom, do you see the upward pointing arrow?
Yeah, that's the arrow. Yeah, I've
right.
pushed that
Now,
many times.
in your menu, do you see a top section that says select a microphone and then a section below that that says select a speaker?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. Have you tried? Do you have only one option there? Or do you?
Every one of them about a dozen times. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because see, I have 8 options in mind for speakers I can select, and I do know I have to have the correct one selected there.
I have 3.
Do you have one that says? Do you have one that says same as system?
Yes.
Have you? And is that checked right now or something else?
No, something else is checked right now. I can hear.
Okay, because
a regular voice from any one of those 3 that I've selected that are on there.
okay, because I will tell you right now on mine, that's what I have checked and that's what worked is the one that says same as system. Do you want to just check that and I'll just play something real quick and see if you can hear it?
Jim, I've already done that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
A dozen
Jack,
times each.
Let me ask you this. Are you using when you click on the link that I send you, is it coming up and using an online, like a browser of Zoom, or they have the Zoom app loaded in your computer?
I have Zoom loaded in my computer. And
have you updated it lately?
No.
That's something
That's
all
what
of you need to do. Yeah, you need to update Zoom. Okay?
Okay.
Because they are updating this thing like
weekly.
Yeah.
And they have been doing audio updates. I know that.
Yeah, there's audio. There's been some major audio updates in the last two months.
Okay, I can try that. Thank you.
Yeah. So go up when you got Zoom on. Go up to the top left-hand corner where it says Zoom. It should now say the new version of it is called Zoom Workplace. And you go up there and you click on it and you do. It says
yes,
check
that's
updates.
I do have. I have
Yeah.
workplace.
Yeah, so go and say, check for updates. Don't do it now, once we stop the meeting. And
Okay.
it will update. And you need to, it unfortunately used to tell me when there was an update, but now I check for updates at least once a week.
Yeah.
That way all this.
Well, I hope it works.
Yeah. See if that does
It's
work.
frustrating, but
Yeah,
it's aggravating, but
It might
anyway.
be
Well,
that-
Jack, when you go back and listen to them or the videos later on, you'll hear the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's
Oh, you mean with the recorded one, when it's
Yeah,
from the
recorded ones,
recording.
you'll hear it in the recordings. I don't know why, but you will.
Yeah, it's just when it's live that it
Right.
doesn't work, is that right? You're having the same problem, Victoria?
Right, but that's what
Oh
it did.
boy, that's so comfortable. Oh my goodness. Misery loves company. Thank you.
Trying to see if there's
Okay.
anything else here. No.
That was my question. Thank
Do
you
we have
very
any
much.
question about video?
I just had one question. When you were showing us the AI stretching of the audio, I'm going to assume that's a complete train wreck if the audio has lyrics.
No, it will try and find it. What it will try and do is try to not chop sentences or verses. It will try to avoid that. It will do it, but you could end up with a repeated verse or a repeated line. It won't. It'll try not to chop. Right in the middle of a line of a song that's being sung, but it may repeat a line. It may repeat a verse.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost exclusively avoid soundtracks with lyrics in anything that I put together. Just me personally as an artist, I find that sometimes the lyrics aren't exactly along with what I'm trying to put out there, visually and whatnot. And I find lyrics can be a distraction from the visual content. And, I'm a visual creator, and the audio is there for me as a support, element. And I don't want distractions coming from vocals in a song.
Good thoughts.
That's just me personally.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, if there's any other questions or you want to see any examples, I'm willing to stay up and stay on if we're all done.
Didn't you say you had a couple of examples of things you wanted to share with us?
Well, yeah, they're available if anybody wants to stay on and see some things.
Good.
I can see
I'm good to stay on.
Okay.
Just a few more minutes.
Yeah, because then you can see some different examples of transitions, different things going on with audio. If you have any questions about about any of them. In fact, you know what? Because just show me your hands. How many people are using or might use their cell phone to make a video?
Maybe.
Okay. I'll show you a 100% cell phone video made for fun while I was playing cards at a poker game. but watch, and you can see this isn't so that you don't necessarily have to think, oh, I can't be really creative with my phone. Okay, let me see where I'm going to open this one up. Yeah, you get to see what I do on a Friday night. Okay, video assets, G. Okay.
Tell me, Jim, do you win any money?
Yes, I usually do.
That's why he's running around with his phone, because he's looking at everybody's hand.
Yeah. Never mind me, it's just a video.
It's actually he's cheating.
So what game of cards? So what game of cards? Poker? Or?
Yeah, yeah. I've got my friends that we have on Friday nights. One night a month we play poker. One night a month we play Monopoly. One night a month we play Dungeons and Dragons. We just have a group of people that sits in and plays games, and it's an entirely different dynamic on each of the different Friday nights. But poker is a lot of fun.
Aren't you glad we don't have meetings on Friday nights anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Found it. Here we go. And this is entirely done with my cell phone. I actually did this when I got my cell phone just so I could test. It was really, I wanted to test my cell phone and put this together for my friends. I wanted to see what I could do with my cell phone. So.
Real money.
That was fun.
So Jack,
So that was
that sound?
that was entirely done with a cell phone, but then put together in Premiere Pro for editing. Now, you saw the opening title clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poker, where it said poker.
That's one of those things that if you have a subscription service, you can go online, because I do not have the skills to make that opening thing with the cards flying through the air and all that. No,
I'm disillusioned now.
that was part of my subscription service where I, just went and, said, oh, I wanted to find, some interesting video of playing cards, and made that be my opening title. But the rest of it was cell phone, but it had a lot of different fun transitions in it, and you saw different types of shots. There was point of view shots where the camera was like right up against the chips. There was slow motion stuff with the chips flying and spinning. There was top down shots where the camera was above the table, pointing straight down. It was a whole mix of stuff. Panning shots, push in shots, pull out shots. It was a mix of all kinds of, all different kinds of shots going on, all different kinds of transitions. And you also saw where it like speeds up and slows down. That's a technique called speed ramping that you can do. So it was just that showed off a whole bunch of techniques in one little video, but that was all done with a cell phone.
So cool.
You're muted, Alan.
Would you say that when you do videos with your cell phones that you hold it horizontal not straight up, not
Well,
vertical?
if you're on TikTok, you're gonna hold it straight up and down.
Instagram too.
Or
Yeah.
like I say, there's vertical video has its place, in the world, but it's not for me. I may reconsider that the day I go pay to sit in a movie theater and the movie screen is like this.
Yeah.
I mean, can you edit that horizontal or not horizontal
Vertical video?
vertical video on the
Yes.
in those things? Okay.
Yes, you can. You can cut vertical out of horizontal video, and in fact, there is an AI tool in Premiere Pro that if you're a content creator and you need to make multiple things for social media,
You can create it.
you film in horizontal and you get that footage. And then the AI in Premiere Pro goes in and determines, well, what's the subject? Where's the action? And after you render your full horizontal video, then you tell Premiere Pro, oh, I want to make a vertical video out of this for, TikTok or whatever. And the AI goes in, cuts a vertical piece, finds the action and the subjects, and tracks with your action and subjects, and then gives you another video from your first video that is a vertical video rendered from your horizontal video.
But can you use if you shoot like with a phone and it's vertical, can you take that into Premiere Pro and it will work?
Absolutely. Yes. You can edit yes, if you shot it vertically, you can edit it vertically.
Okay.
Absolutely. Nope. Yep. No problem. Now, it's going to be tough on you if you shoot a mix. Don't do that. Shoot all your source material in one or the other, and render it, in one or the other. Yeah, if you like vertical video, if you're 40 years younger than me, go for it. But so yeah, that's that's the thing there. And like I say, and if you want, I'll cut to the end of it if you want to see some of it. The AC/DC Monopoly Disco Party Night. The disco party part has. You want to see gimmicky transitions, not transmission. Gimmicky transitions, and you want to be nostalgic for bad '90s music videos. But it's okay. And I lost my whole toolbar off of Zoom. There's a command for that. What's the command for that gets you their bottom toolbar back with all the options on it? I wish they wouldn't do that. I don't know why they have a way to.
Is there not a little camera up at the top?
A camera at the top?
Yeah, there's a little icon up at the top on your top of your.
Okay, I just got it back.
Okay.
You have to jump it to full screen and then back again. If you lose it, it won't come back unless you go full screen. That was the trick. All right, got it. Advanced video. Share.
While he's doing that, just to add to my comment earlier today, they're closing roads in Yellowstone due to snow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We didn't ask Nona how things were going at her house.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got it. So I'll let the first bit play for a second, and then I'll just jump to the end where it transitions from our Monopoly game to our dance party.
Fancy.
And this again, by the way, it's all a cell phone video.
Cell phone, yeah.
Yeah. When I'm sitting there playing games, I just have a cell phone with me, but it lets you see, hey, you can be pretty creative with a phone if you want to be. All right, I'm going to jump ahead. You see, my friend has more money than he knows what to do with in his house.
Wow. dance by herself? There we are. All right, now we got some more people.
You get a fog machine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's taking me back.
I'm surprised we can still see from all those lights that used to be there jumping around all the time.
Heat it up. Look at that.
Well, the cocaine kicked in.
More urine?
Since we're talking 90s parties.
So yeah, there's
That's
like
cool.
yeah, you like I say, you see all those crazy effects and you know
Yep.
cheesy.
Yeah.
There is a place in the world for such things.
Well, you know, thinking back, those are first videos that they used to have, they were bad.
Yeah.
They were very bad. I see some old ones now, I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, like I say, you see more different effects and transitions and things going on there with that and what was going on. But let's see. And then I'll show you a little something. This was like I say, 20 seconds, but you'd be surprised how hard it is to do 20 to make it. This is something actually done for a client. I'll let you see a couple short things done for clients that show you some different things as well that are completely different genre, not done with a cell phone. Open file location. That is complete.
Jim, you got a haircut.
Yes, I did. I got more than one cut.
You see now why I never became a detective, right?
Leslie, his hair was cut like that when we were at the university.
Yeah, when we were at the Polytechnic, that was 24 hours after I got it cut.
Again,
Notice?
again, you see why I'm not a detective.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, now I lost my entire Zoom window. Let's see here. See if I can find it.
Well, when we get done with this, I got a question, which is probably everybody knows the answer to, but I'm not sure of. How would I get my video from my phone into my computer to work on it?
Download it.
Okay.
It's no different.
You can plug it. You can
from
plug the
your
USB port in your phone to the USB port in your computer and download files from it. You can also use the share button. You know the button that says share. And there's options depending on what phone you have. To
Samsung.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
You can send it to your
with Samsung,
email.
you can just plug it right into your computer.
yeah, with the iPhone, you could just
and
use AirPlay and AirPlay
download
it
it.
right into your or AirDrop. I'm sorry, AirDrop it right onto your desktop.
She has
Okay.
a good phone like the rest of us. She's Samsung.
Yeah.
Okay, I found my Zoom window. It went to the micro-sized window and was hidden behind one of the 30 other windows I have going on.
You just need more monitors.
Yeah, you need about 4 or 5 more monitors.
Yeah.
You need that sports bar set up. Just have them up on the wall.
Everywhere.
No, it's the stockbrokers. They have.
Did you see my friend's house with the wall of 6 televisions?
Jeez. Why would anybody want to watch 6 things at the same time? I don't know.
He's a bit my friend's a bit unusual.
I guess.
He's a funny. We've been friends since we were 12 years old, and he's an interesting fellow.
Lynn Sylvia watches 3 at a time for football games.
I can't even deal with 1 football game at a time, let alone 3.
Well, I had her do that when she lived here because sometimes I drop off when I'm watching football and I wake up and I think, where'd that score come from? And it's a different team. Because she would just flip.
Okay.
I don't, no good.
Yeah, here's something that was that's 20 seconds. But it was put together from there were 5 cameras running, and we actually filmed a bunch of stuff for about 2 hours with
For
a 5
20
camera
seconds?
setup, and then got several 20-second videos
Oh, several, okay.
out of it. Yeah. Yeah, I can got 2 of them right here.
Well, I'm thirsty.
And that's it. 20 seconds flies by, and you see fast cuts, short
Yeah.
clips. That would be like an action video. You're putting an action video together. That's what you're doing. Short clips, fast cuts.
No.
Yeah.
Jim, what was that he spritzed on that glass? What was that?
Bitters.
Oh, bitters.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I was not thirsty after this shoot because all the drinks were made with real alcohol. And we had rehearsal drinks so that I could see what I wanted to do with the cameras that needed to be consumed. And then there was always a take 1 drink. And then if something was flubbed, that had to be taken care of. And then there would be a take 2 drink. And not only that, but I did a bunch of still photos of I think 8 different cocktails plus what we filmed. And yeah, it was a while before I could drive home that night.
I was going to say, what's this second video going to look like? Is it going to be a little wobbly?
So this was the video they wanted showing the bartenders. So this was the bartenders in action. And then they wanted one, also cut from the same footage that just showed some of the drinks being done. And their marketing company said 20 seconds was the length that the marketing company wanted the videos to be.
Well, you couldn't waste alcohol or waste liquor. You had to drink
And that's it. 20 seconds. 20 seconds flies by. But
I'll say.
and you cannot imagine how much footage is on the cutting room floor for that.
No, you really did have it on the floor because you were using Premiere Pro, which
Yeah.
yeah.
The virtual
floor.
Look, here's original source footage. Right here. Do you see this folder on my screen?
No, you're not sharing anymore.
Yeah, you see how many clips there are?
No, you're not sharing.
You're
Oh.
not sharing.
Oh, it didn't share?
No. He's got one of those drinks there with him now.
There. Okay.
It just remembering.
This is
Yeah, there we go.
yeah. This is source clips, and some of these source clips are 20, 30 seconds long just, for the source clips. So this is the material that this is the source material that went into making that.
Oh.
And just to let you see the difference in 90-second videos. And these are an example where I was telling you about. You have the subscription service that lets you use stuff, B-roll and things like that. And additional source material was licensed from one of my video stock things, because as again in the week I had to do this, I was not going scuba diving in the islands. I was not going to a ski slope in the mountains, or any of that. So let me screen share again one more time. Okay, here we go. Many of you know this place. And these two are 90 seconds. They these are allowed to be up to 90 seconds for these that I did.
Let's see if I know this place.
Yeah.
Bill Jackson.
That looks like Kathy. That's one of your trips. Nice.
No, that is not the pond outside of Bill Jackson's.
No.
Nor
No,
did
it's
I
not.
think he went
So,
out west to go fly fishing.
That's the that's the beauty of having a stock service that you don't have to pay royalties to use the to use clips. So and now interestingly, their gun department has its own entirely separate social media channel from the rest of the store. So the gun department has to have everything done separately. It can't be mixed and matched.
Don't think that was outside Bill Jackson's either.
No.
Yeah, that had a lot of split screen technique
Yeah.
in it, which is interesting. Interestingly enough, the guy in the range shooting the gun, all the guys in the gun department wear guns on their hips, while they're working and everything, but they're not allowed to use their own guns there. So I had to give them my gun to shoot. Go figure. But
It's a little bit scary to see how many guns those safes can hold.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And did
a
you see
lot
how
of
many?
guns.
Did you see how many safes there are in their safe department?
Yes. Yes.
They're very proud of that there. So, but yeah, there's some examples of of social media marketing stuff
I really appreciate that,
being
Jim.
done that with different techniques. Very different than if you ever look, you've seen some of my personal stuff that I put together and whatnot, which is very different, in and of itself.
Well,
So,
that's just like your photography is very different from what
oh
you
yeah.
what you do for Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
well, boys and girls, it's almost 10 o'clock. I think it's time to
Oh
stop.
my goodness. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
Jim, hey, I know you
Thank
were
you.
busy and you're behind and all that. I hope things are better for you, whatever it
Yep.
is.
No,
And,
thanks. Well,
get some
hopefully this
sleep.
was helpful.
I think so.
for,
Absolutely.
Very
Without
much
a
so, yeah,
doubt.
thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Jim.
Thank
yeah,
you
I want to
very
say,
much.
man,
Thank
and,
you, Jim.
get a, go on YouTube for some inspiration for some things, and if you want to see some more cinematic.
Cinematic.
Cinematic. Thank you. Some more cinematic type stuff. Go on Vimeo and look at the editor's choices of what's being done there. Too, if you're looking for inspiration or creative ideas.
Well, I was taking notes because as you were talking, things were coming to my mind. I already know what I'm doing.
Great. I am happy to hear that. I can't wait to I
already
can't
know.
wait to see what people do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
I can't
guys.
wait.
All right, good night.
Sleep, Jim.
Nice seeing
All
everyone.
right. Good night, guys.